Hi, this is Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare at Elm Street 4 and 5, and you are listening to the 13th Wolfman. Ooh, ooh, ooh! Where did that come from?
Hey everybody, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and you know what? You know who I have with me today? This is a big one, people. This is the one I've been waiting for. We have Alice Johnson from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, Lisa Wilcox. Welcome to Sit Down,
Yay!
Lisa.
Hi!
Yeah, this is a big one for me. We've had the luck of interviewing some people, from classic 80s movies, and finally, we get Alice. You know?
Alice lives! Yay!
Alice lives, yeah. I was doing a little reading on you, and you moved out to Irvine from the East Coast when you were younger.
From Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of curious. I mean, you moved out because your dad got a job out in California.
Correct.
But if you'd not gotten that job, would you have gone into acting?
No. No. I was going to go into the medical field, actually. That's where I was kind of headed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, my grandmother was an RN, and my great-grandfather was a doctor, and that was the field I was really interested in. In Missouri, I had done one play called MASH, like the TV show MASH, and there's actually a theatrical play, MASH, and I had this one little role, Ms. Randazzo, that I played. I had two scenes. So I'm playing like this sexy, like, secretary with the, pencil skirt and high heels and all that. And our scenes were kind of comic relief, and also they were done on the proscenium in front of the curtain while they were changing sets in the back, right? So we did this scene, and I'm walking and strutting in my strappy sandals, and one of the footlights was not locked. And I'm walking on the footlights, and this unlocked footlight opens up, and my foot goes down. My strappy sandal is now hanging off my ankle, center stage. I'm completely stuck, and there's 400 people out in the audience watching. And so then the other actor and I just started improv, and he's like, hey, I had a little too much to drink there, Ms. Randazzo, and all this kind of thing. Eventually, the audience realized that something was going on. They started laughing. It was so humiliating. Oh, my gosh. Then behind the stage, they finally realized something was going on, and so some Hawkeye sticks his head out through the curtain, helps me, get untangled from the mean old footlight, and then I pick up my paper and my clipboard and proceeded on with the scene. So it was so humiliating. Monday at school, though, everyone knew who I was. You're the actor who fell in the footlight. Oh my God, that was wild. Blah 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 blah. So I can't say that my introduction to acting was quite eventful. Let's put it that way.
No, but it was a scene stealer.
What?
It was a scene stealer.
It was a scene stealer. That's probably what they walked away that night. That the memory of this poor girl captured by a footlight.
So how do you transition from going, I want to go to the medical field to going, I want to be an actress? I mean, I know some people that have done one career and then moved into a different one. Like we have a football player. We had a football player for the Seattle Seahawks back in the 80s, Dan Dornick, that played pro football while he went to medical school. He's a doctor now.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, went to Irvine, finished high school there, and I sort of just by accident, I went with a friend, asked me if I wanted to go with him to an audition down at Buddy Ebsen's Equity Waiver Theater in Newport Beach. Yeah, sure, why not? So I'm sitting there and just watching the auditions happening, and the producer, Jane Nye, she taps on my shoulder and she's like, "You're auditioning for this play, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Oh no." And then she asked me 3 times to please read for the lead role of Girl, and the play was called The Hot L Baltimore by Lanford Wilson. So I went up and read, and I got the role, the lead role. So pretty much since then, not pretty much, absolutely from then on, I was bit by the bug. to be an actress. So.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
Not a
Right
lot of people
place,
can
right
say
time.
that.
Huh?
Yeah, not a lot of people can say that. I mean, usually they put in a lot of effort, and some people there are those stories you hear that some people just fall into it, and you
Yeah,
get lucky. That's
I was.
that's
Yeah,
great.
I was lucky. Now, it's not to say that later on, I mean, after that, I did play after play after play, equity waiver. So I'm going to high school, and then at night, I'm going to equity waiver theaters, having rehearsals every night, and then, of course, performances on the weekends for 6 weeks. Worked my tail off. I mean, I loved it. I loved it. Then UCLA, theater arts major. And then when you graduate, then that's when you start the audition process, the real Hollywood audition experience. And, hard work, scene study, and all that stuff. But I got lucky. I mean, about a month and a half after I finished UCLA, I got a recurring role on General Hospital. So, but it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for sure, from like 16 years old until I graduated from college, 22 years old. So, yeah.
You did a lot of TV and a lot of shows that I watched back then. You did Castle McCormick. You did MacGyver.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. You're 16.
You-
You're beautiful in your mind. Yes. And I was a beauty pageant girl. Yes.
Yeah, you did MacGyver. You did Hell Week on MacGyver.
Yep. Yep. That was really cool. They filmed that in Vancouver. So I got to go up to Vancouver. It was great. Yeah. What a neat set to be on.
But that's so cool. But then you went out for an audition for Halloween 4.
Did I audition for Halloween 4?
I read you auditioned for Halloween 4, and you and one of the actress that got the lead.
Really? I don't remember that.
Oh.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. But I'm glad I got Nightmare on Elm Street instead.
Yeah, you got the role. The chick that, I mean, the only chick that's tougher than Nancy Thompson, But she was
Thank you.
She was Heather Langenkamp's character in the first film and the third film, but
yes. No, I'm thrilled I got Nightmare 4, because I mean the role of Alice is just like any actor's dream come true because of the character arc that Alice experiences in the film, and for an actor that's the best kind of role to do, and to not get killed.
And you also got to work with Rennie Harlan.
Yeah. He had done only one film at that point, Prison, but then of course he's gone on to have a very illustrious career, after Nightmare 4. So, and he was great to work with. He was just great. He was really an actor's director, and he was open to suggestions, and he liked rehearsals, and he was very calm on set, and yeah, he was great.
So, how was his English back then? No, because he's Finnish, right?
He Norway, I think he is. Yeah, so
Norway or Finland or something like that.
Finland. That's it, Finland. Yeah, and he had an accent, but he spoke pretty good English. I have to say, but he did have an accent. If you ever get to interview Tuesday Night, who played Kristen in Nightmare 4, please ask her to mimic his how he spoke. She does it quite well.
Yeah. So let's talk about the process of getting Alice. I mean, you go out for an audition, but I'm guessing that since this is Nightmare 4, there's a line.
Yes. In fact, yes. Annette Benson, who did most of the casting for the Nightmare series, she told me this story, which is that they wouldn't audition me. My agent sent in my headshot, and my manager said, but they're not going to audition you, Lisa, because back then, I mean, I was the makeup and the platinum blonde hair at the time, which was a virgin blonde hair. And then I didn't look the role of Alice. That was not what they were looking for. So they auditioned, and that tells me like over 600 actresses for the role of Alice, and they couldn't find their Alice. So they went through the throwaway pile, which I was sitting in, and I finally, after a month, got the opportunity to audition. And I had one callback, which was on a Friday. I'll never forget it. And Tuesday was there. I read with her, and Rennie was there, of course, in the DP. And it was a Friday. I did my audition, and of course, I went in different looking than my headshot. The role of Alice, so I went with like no makeup and like dirty hair. I wore my worst color, which is pale yellow, because I rarely tan back then. Then, I acted, I did the role, and I totally bonded with the character of Alice. It was so me in grade school, so it was pretty easy. I mean, it was an easy character for me to associate with. Then that weekend on Sunday, I got married. 150 people at my wedding, a big wedding, preparing. And on my honeymoon is when I learned that I had gotten the role of Alice.
That's a wedding present if there isn't.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that whole trend back in the. I'm only a few years younger than you.
Okay.
So I mean, while you're up there on the screen, I'm the teenager in the theater watching them all, and I remember that trend where the final girl had to be a tough brunette chick.
Right.
It was Jamie Lee Curtis, Heather Langenkamp, Sigourney Weaver,
Mm-hmm.
and then the blondes were pretty much disposable. They were the
TNA. The TNA they called it back then. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to do that, but yeah, that's exactly what they were.
It's cool.
I was trying to be nice.
Well, they definitely they asked me to dye my hair. So, they put a rinse on my hair every day, so it was the reddish, more red look. They definitely didn't want blonde. Also because they didn't want blonde because one, Tuesday Night, who was doing the role that Patricia Arquette had done in Nightmare 3 was blonde. Tuesday was blonde. She had to be blonde. And then Debbie, the gal who plays Debbie, she's a super white blonde. So she had a wig on. And then with me, they did the red rinse. So,
yeah, which is understandable. I mean,
yeah, it made sense. It does.
Tuesday night was so adorable in that movie. She'd be great to get on here, but
yeah.
But yeah, this was actually one of my favorite Nightmare films because of the whole. I don't know. They had like a scene that kept repeating.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember sitting in the theater with my girlfriend at the time, and it kept happening. I'm like, I was like, what's going on? Seriously?
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I know, right? You're like, what's going on? What's going on? You're like, what's going on with the reel? But it was fun, right? Once you got it,
Once it skipped, I think it was like after the third time around, and they finally broke the plane. Like, okay, thank you. A thing that I always thought was funny is they drove around in that truck, and that truck had that little dirt bike in the back, and I'm like, how come that bike didn't come into any? They could have just had a truck with nothing in the back of it whatsoever.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know why they wanted that prop in there. Maybe because when the truck crashes, maybe it was a more interesting visual effect because didn't the bike like flip out or something like that?
It goes up and over the truck.
I bet that's why they thought that visual effect would be really cool to see this motorcycle spinning in the air when the truck crashes. So I'm going to take a wild guess that that's why they had that bike in there.
Probably, yeah. I was, at the same time that I was going to movies, I was also one of those guys that was riding dirt bikes up in Washington. So it's like, I don't get to see anyone on this? What? Come on. So you go from playing Alice in Part 4 to showing up in Part 5, handing over your powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have loved to see more of Alice in the 5th movie, but that's just not the way they wrote it.
You mean after 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what happened to Alice and Jacob, I would have liked to have seen that too. But they just decided they just went on a whole new storyline, completely. So
yeah, and then you went back to doing a little bit of TV, and then you stepped out of acting altogether in like the early 2000s.
Yeah. My kids were I had 2 children, and they were starting school, and it's not like I could just go, and I didn't want to just go off to Vancouver to do a movie or anything. I really wanted to be home with my children and partake in their lives as much as possible. So I did a little, things here and there, but for the most part, I was full-time, wife and mother, for sure, definitely.
And then a little bit later, I remember you from a show called Fear Clinic.
Yeah. Wasn't that fun? That web series? Yeah.
That was an incredible little thing going on. I would have loved to see more of it. I really did. I liked it,
I know, and so many people loved it, and it just, I don't know, it just fell between the cracks, I thought it's such a great concept. I loved my role. I got to be blonde and this, the black nurse outfit, too funny. It was very surreal. Then, and also to work with Robert, of course, now without him having the makeup on and everything. And it was great to collaborate together, for sure. So, I don't know. You know what? When I see Robert in Chicago, I'm going to ask him about Fear Clinic if there's any way of, bringing it back some way, continuing the series. Because a lot of people did enjoy it. So thank you very much.
Well, you also got to live out one of your dreams.
Sorry?
You got to live out one of your dreams. You got to work in the medical profession.
Yes. Work in the medical field, yes. I did. Very cute. I also got to play a doctor in Watchers 4 with Mark Hamill, too.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow. Robert Englund and Mark Hamill. You talk about working with 2 icons of a pop culture. I'm serious. You got the sci-fi and you got the horror.
I don't know. It's just, pounding the pavement, doing those auditions, man, got to work it, So, yeah, it is pretty cool, I have to say. And can I tell you a little story about Mark Hamill?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's a sweetheart, absolute sweetheart. We had the best time filming, and he loves The Simpsons too. So he would bring Simpsons episodes to set, and then while we're waiting, we would watch Simpsons episodes. So anyway, we became very good friends, and at the end of the film, he invited me and my kids and my husband over to his house and met with his wife. We swam in the pool, and we hung out, and my youngest son, he was about 3 at the time. He was eating these, there was a bowl of cherries on the patio table, and my son was eating those, but we're all chatting and this and that, and I wasn't paying attention. And then I look over, and I'm like, oh my God, half the bowl is gone of cherries. And then my little 3-year-old proceeds to vomit all over the table and the patio. and Mark has kids of his own, and he's like, no problem, and he just gets the hose, and he's hosing the patio down. So anyway, he's so down to earth and so great. But I was mortified, of course. Mark, the Hamill's patio, But anyway, it's all good.
I just screwed up Luke Skywalker's patio.
Yeah. What's he gonna do to me?
What's Robert like?
Robert is one of the most intelligent human beings I have ever met. He is so knowledgeable about film and history and all kinds of things. He's fascinating to listen to and talk with. Again, totally down to earth. He's humorous. He's a regular guy. He's great. I remember we would have conversations on set, and he's getting his makeup on, and we're in the makeup trailer, and he'd be talking about the redoing the bathroom and what grout color to use, that kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, he's totally down to earth, and I'm sure those of you out there who have had the chance to meet him in person at one of the autograph shows, at one of the conventions, you know how genuine he is and genuinely interested in your comments, and he'll he talks to you, so it's a great guy.
I haven't had the opportunity yet to meet him, and that's why I ask, So yeah. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about meeting him. Everyone's always said the same thing. He's the nicest guy. He's the sweetest guy. Yep. if you're lucky, you'll get to talk to him for more than just a few seconds, because he
Right.
likes,
Yes. Yes.
you
Whoops.
know.
Sorry. I'm adjusting my fan. Um, yeah. And I mean, and he really takes the time too, I mean, he really, really does. Sorry. I'm adjusting my fan. It's like 95 degrees here in Los Angeles. It's crazy. Um, but if you ever get the chance, yes, you've got yeah, stand in that line. It's worth it.
Oh, I definitely, yeah. And then, like, in 2015, a movie, I don't know if it's out yet, but it's a movie that when I was looking through your stuff, I want to see this because this sounds like the most interesting movie, Klinger.
Yeah. I think you can get it at least on Amazon, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, I have a comedic role, and we filmed in Texas, and it actually got accepted at the Sundance Film Festival. Not the Sundance Film Festival, the other one.
Slamdance.
Slamdance, thank you.
Slamdance.
Which all happens on the same street. It's just like the Sundance films are at the bottom of the street, and the other Slamdance is up at the top of the hill of the street. And that's not, I mean, they get thousands of submissions, so we were like so excited when it was accepted, and I got to go to the festival, and I'd never been to the Slamdance Film Festival before either. It's beautiful in Park City. But yeah, it's a cute movie. It's one of those scripts I read, and I was laughing out loud like 5 times during the script, just laughing out loud. It was a really fun ride. Really fun ride.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It's all about you have a daughter that has a boyfriend that dies and then he comes back. I mean, it sounds kind of zombie-esque, but it sounds like fun zombie-esque to me.
It was so fun, fun. Yeah. This one scene. Oh gosh, you guys have to go find it. Okay, really, it's really fun. It's funny. It is so funny, and I can't say there's a ton of horror humor movies out there. It's not done that often, but I think they really pulled it off. It's really cute.
So along with that, what else do you got coming out?
Well, I'm supposed to be doing a film called The Possessed, and it's going to film in New Orleans. That's supposed to be next month, so that's pretty cool. I also did a short film called The Quiet Room, a horror genre piece, and I just went to the screening of it last month, and it turned out. I'm very excited about it. I play a nurse. Aha! The medical theme. Now I'm going to have to go through my resume and go, oh yeah, I was medical. And I really will enjoy the role because I'm just playing. It takes place in a psych ward. And so I'm working with this one patient, and just some really down to earth scenes. Really enjoyed this role, trying to get into the head of this one young man. I really love this role. Oh, then I also did something else in New York along with Amanda Wyss, which we know as Freddy's First Kill in the First Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. We did this movie called The Watcher of Park Avenue. And they're finishing up. The poster is already done. It's this really cool graphic of me and Amanda on the poster. And actually, I've had quite a few supporters and fans say, "Can we buy the poster?" So it might be up on my website already. I'm going to have to double check. But Amanda and I will both sign it. We're charging like $80 for both signatures and the poster. So is it that much? Maybe it's $50. I'm sorry. I don't remember. I'll have to check on my website. This is all just new. This all just kind of came up and is new. So then I have another movie called Red Hollow, which was a Canadian writer and director. The thing is, it's very hard for American actors to get accepted to film in Canada anymore. And he was trying with the board, and he got 2 tries, and he wants the value of an actress that was a Nightmare on Elm Street. The actors don't have that value, and he really wanted my name on that. They said no. So he's rewriting the script, and he's going to film my scenes in Los Angeles. So anyway, it's called Red Hollow. Really good role. I play not a nice person.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited about. And then I have another film which we'll film in Texas called Mystery Spot. I'm a journalist, photographer. I am really great role, lead role. I don't want to tell you too much about it because it's a mystery. And so, it's very interesting. I just got back into acting full time just last year, and it's been great. So I promise everyone, I am working on stuff. It just takes time for it to come out. But next year, you'll be able to see some things, coming out and stuff. And I started doing commercials too. So,
wow,
you probably saw my, very busy, Pro Flowers Mother's Day. I got a lot of people messaging me, is that you in the Mother's Day commercial for Pro Flowers? I'm like, yes, it was me. They made me look like 60 years old, though. I wasn't happy about that. But whatever. I got a commercial. Then I did an Edward Jones commercial, financial group. I did Yamaha. I did a huge Yamaha campaign. And that you can find on YouTube and stuff. I'm mostly the chick on the motorcycle. You'll see my blonde hair waving around. But there's print shots, too. And then I did a Little Caesars commercial as well. So it's been very busy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, just jumping right back into it with both feet.
I know, right?
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm just glad it's working out,
Yeah, so am I. Looking at the clock, I see we got to get ready for that live show. So if people want to find you on your social media, where can they find you?
Yes. Facebook is Lisa Wilcox, or you can look up Lisa E. Wilcox. And then, I always forget. It's at Lisa Wilcox, I want to say, on Twitter. And Instagram is the Lisa Wilcox. It's the reverse. The Lisa Wilcox or at Lisa Wilcox. So please, and then my website is lisawilcox.biz, and there I list up, the conventions I'm going to be at. I'm going to be at Comic-Con one day, this coming Saturday, actually. I have a wonderful panel with some wonderful actors, so please visit my website. You'll see the banner and who else is going to be there, and we'll do some signings, too, as well. And, follow me. I'm pretty busy on Instagram, usually putting up crazy pictures.
Wow, you're just busy all around. That's crazy. So
busy.
I want to thank you for coming on. Sit down.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed yourself. I enjoyed talking to you.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, I could talk all night long, I swear. Thank you so much for having me.
And then for Lisa Wilcox, I am the 13th Wolfman, and of course, I'm on the prowl.
Toodaloo.